Are you an enthusiast? Well, we at the Fast Lane Car certainly are. And coming up next, we have the top 5 enthusiast cars for under $50,000. These are fast, babies, so have a look, and that's coming up next.
Never been in a Camaro before, and I'm so excited to be in this car. It's so much fun. Now this is basically the base model, okay? I don't have any track package on this. I don't have any kind of a track suspension. I don't have an exhaust, a special exhaust package, nothing like that. But having said that, what that means is that this car is pretty mild-mannered in the city. I mean, I do have 400 horsepower, and I haven't felt like it's trying to get out of my control while I'm just toddling around here in the city, which is really nice. Now in the coupe you get 11.3 cubic feet of space, but not so much in the convertible. We were able to fit our small gear bag and a fairly small suitcase, but honestly, like, I don't even think I would be able to get in here, even though Chevy obviously thinks that you could maybe kidnap somebody. Pull this and run. The shiftable automatic does shift fairly quickly. You stop, it doesn't automatically return to first gear for you. You do have to shift it down to first gear. So what that tells me is that even when I get up to higher speeds, I think I would be able to, oh my God, this is just, you guys, I'm sorry, Roman. I know. There's so much traffic on this road. I feel weird. Okay, let me try this again. Under the hood, you've got a 6.2 liter V8, which is good for 400 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. Of course, if I could get the 6-speed manual, I'd have 426 horsepower, but that is not the case today. It sounds okay, but the fact that I can't rev it over 4,000 RPMs is really annoying, and I just want a little bit more grunt to my muscle car, you know? I mean, I want to pull up to a light, and I want the dude in the Prius next to me to be like, oh, girl, what are you doing driving that thing? And I'm gonna go, yeah! It's not there. It's not there. Power is going to those rear wheels via my 6-speed automatic transmission, and EPA fuel ratings are something that I don't remember, so hang on just a second. Now, power goes to those rear wheels via my 6-speed automatic transmission, and EPA fuel ratings are 16 in the city, 24 out on the highway, and 19 combined, but I'm predicting that I'm not going to get anywhere near that. Shift for you. That's good. It'll go up there and just bounce right off the rev limiter. Awesome. I mean, if that's what you want. I'm not saying that's what you want. Comfort-wise, these seats are pretty comfortable, although there's not a ton of side bolster support. I feel like I'm sitting in a bathtub though. Now I can move my seat up. I've got a power adjustable seat, but because this windshield breaks so far back, then my sight line is severely obstructed. So, you know, it's uncomfortable. You always want to hang your hand out your bitchin' Camaro and look pretty cool, but I can't do that because I sit so far down in the car that it's just not very comfortable. I'm pretty sure that the only passengers is gonna be your luggage, because there ain't no room. Yeah, I'm not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? Now the Camaro did get a little bit of a redesign in 2014 and not much has changed. I've got a really nice, wide, aggressive front end, and if you see this baby coming at you in your rearview mirror, man, you better move over to the right because it is gonna pass. Now in this car, I've got the optional package with 20-inch wheels, and these are wrapped in Pirelli P0 tires. And in the back, now I know a lot of people, they're a little concerned about what Chevrolet's been doing in the back with their taillights, but frankly, I kind of like it. I really like that this harkens back a little bit more to the vintage bitchin' Camaros. Fortunately, I've got Brembos on all four corners, because you might need it a little bit. That was fun. Now, as of yet, I have not been able to get this tail to hang out, but again, you guys, I'm on a public street. I'm not going to be an idiot. I'm an idiot in a lot of different ways, but not in that way. So we can see all of North San Diego from here. It's awesome. I can see that huge church-looking thing right there is the Mormon temple. And then just north of that is UC San Diego, where I went to school. And then just west of that is Black's Beach, which was our nude beach down here. Which, whoop, 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 whoop. And then there's Scripps School of Oceanography is down here. I just love San Diego. Can we move TFL car to San Diego? That would be awesome.
You gotta ask Roman.
And we're 30 miles from Mexico. I mean, come on, it's a perfect place. Now, in terms of convenience in the car, I do have a touchscreen. I've got satellite radio, Bluetooth, heated seats, all of those things you always want in your new car, right? The way things are laid out, however, I have some redundant climate controls, which is really nice. And then in the center stack behind the gear shift, I've got four other gauges for my oil pressure, looks like my battery, oil temperature, and my transmission temperature. But because the way the climate controls are from my angle, it interferes with my oil pressure gauge. I can't see it very clearly. So that's not my favorite thing in the world, but it is nice to have those gauges, especially because this is a car that you're probably going to be putting through its paces a little bit more than your everyday car. Ooh, plastic painted to look like metal. Fancy. Come on. Now in my gauge cluster, I've got an analog tach and an analog speedometer, but then I also have a digital speedometer that's front and center. I've got a multifunctional steering wheel. And who cares? This thing could have like a wooden steering wheel with absolutely no function whatsoever, and I wouldn't give a crap. Because guess what? You know, my whole life, I've really been more of a Mustang gal, and then when Dodge was coming out with the re-release of the Challenger, I saw the Challenger and I was like, oh man, that is just fantastic. And I'd always really loved the vintage Camaros, and I wasn't really a fan of the new ones, but I have to tell you, you know, this is pretty damn fun. This car a buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, because I have only had it for a few hours. But I will say this, first impressions, you know, it's mild-mannered enough in the city, but you can still really let it go on the highway, which is a lot of fun. I only hope that when Chevy gives me this car for the whole week, they give me the manual. So the Fiesta ST is only offered in a 4-door hatch, and I am A-okay with that because it looks awesome. This race red paint job, our cameraman Andre, his kid came out and saw it for the first time, 3 years old, and he went, whoa. So we think maybe this should be called Whoa Red. Now I do have the optional 17-inch painted wheels. Now those come in at $375, and they're wrapped with Bridgestone Potenza low-profile tires. Up here in the front, I really like how everything is kind of super aggressive. I've got a really large grille, but only the top half is open. Down here, it's closed. But that's okay, because underneath, I've got even more air scooping in there, and that is all functional. One thing I like about this Fiesta ST is that it's small. It is small. I mean, the Focus ST is great, but this, I love small cars, and this one just really does it for me. Now, when you compare this to the 2015 GTI, the Fiesta is 160 inches in length, and the GTI is 168. The width of the Fiesta is 67.8, and the GTI is 70.5. And the Fiesta comes in at about 2,700 pounds, and the GTI comes in at 2,972. So that is a huge difference. This is definitely smaller, more lightweight, a little bit more nimble than the GTI. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the GTI. I think it's a great car. But also the GTI starts at nearly $3,500 more than what this car starts at. So this is definitely a better value, and it's just as fun. Now the cool thing about the Fiesta is you can get it in this ST version all the way down to a 1-liter 3-cylinder EcoBoost. But of course, we're gonna love the ST, right? So here I've got a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder direct injected engine. 1.6, that's it, but it's turbocharged, so it's putting out 197 horsepower and 202 pound-feet of torque. Now, unfortunately, you do need to use super premium fuel, premium being 93, in order to see those numbers, and here in Colorado, we only get up to 91, so we can't even see the full power of this car here in this state. Now, I get a 6-speed manual transmission. That is all that is offered in this car. Yay! And that's putting the power to these front wheels. Gas mileage is an awesome 26 in the city, 35 out on the highway, and 29 combined. And after one day of driving it, just regular driving, running errands, combination of city and highway, we saw 30 miles per gallon. So pretty awesome. The steering in this car also, I mean, it's electric power steering and you wouldn't know it. It is super heavy, you get a lot of feel, and I swear to God, you just think about turning and this baby turns. I mean, inputs are really direct, really precise, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now your suspension is tuned pretty tight. It's not crazy uncomfortable, but you feel what's going on in the road, definitely. But while I had this car out on the track, I felt like I was really planted, really confident. And then when you start going and you're just kind of daily driving it, yeah, you're gonna feel stuff, but it's not uncomfortable by any stretch of the imagination. So the interior of the Fiesta ST, it's pretty simple, but frankly, this is a driver enthusiast car, right? So you're probably not looking for a lot of features, but you do have the standard ones that everyone's come to expect. There's Bluetooth, you've got 2 USB ports, it's voice activated, you've got the Ford Sync powered by Microsoft for real-time traffic reports, satellite radio, all of that good kind of stuff. The dash has a lot of soft touch materials on it, which is great, and it's designed simply, but some of the locations of the buttons is a little strange. I mean, it took me a while to figure out where the lock and unlock button is for the door, and the start-stop button is kind of hidden behind the steering wheel a little bit, and the controls for the radio, I don't know, they're just not well labeled, and it's not very intuitive. So while you'll get used to it, when you first get in the car, you might think, well, wait, what's going on? I don't know. American turbocharging right there, y'all. America. So you get max horsepower in this car, which is 197 horsepower. You get max horsepower at 6,000 RPM. Now it redlines at 65, so it really, really wants to play in the high revs, which is awesome. Now your peak torque comes in at about 4,200, and I mean, it's just a blast. Now they also pump in a little bit of your turbo sound into the cabin. It's not done through the speaker, it's done through an actual pipe. So, you know, you get that little like, woohoo, I'm so cool, racer. My touchscreen here, you know, it's kind of popped up out of the dash, and while it doesn't get in my way, like, it's not in my direct line of sight, but it's definitely in my peripheral vision. So I kind of just want to push it down, just get rid of it. Now, one of the other exciting things that you get here in the Fiesta ST is you get a mechanical parking brake. Now, I would mechanicalize a donut here, but I am on a public road and I don't want to, you know. But you do get a mechanical handbrake, and it's right here by your seat. So there is a lot of hooning fun to be had because they're giving you the option of, you know, locking them up, baby, lock them up. Woo-hoo! Of the patented laundry basket rating. Well, I've got 10.1 cubic feet of space behind those second row seats, and these do fit, but it's a hatch, baby, and I can't close it. Of course, the second row of seats does fold down. That gives you 25.4 cubic feet of space, so that's quite a lot. They don't fold down flat, but you can. This is a very usable car. But there's one thing that we just noticed. Come on. So I have this nice little bottom here and a nice little bottom here. And when I lift it up, there's the spare tire, but look at all this space that's wasted. There's at least like 5 inches of vertical space there that's wasted. So I don't know, maybe this is an aftermarket opportunity for someone to come along and give you a trunk bottom there that gives you a little bit more room, because that's ridiculous. Come on, Ford, you know better than that. Look at how awesome the rear of the Fiesta ST looks. I mean, this wing is so cool. It's got these little cutouts here. I've got a rear diffuser, and the whole thing just looks like it sits a little bit lower in the rear, which I really like. Now we do have the optional $2,000 Recaro seats. And I have to tell you, I think it's worth it. Now, they're not full-on race seats. I mean, they do have a lot of padding in them, and they are heated, which adds a little bit of weight. But the bolstering on them, it's great, and they're still comfortable enough for any kind of daily driving that you might be doing. You know, I don't know what your rear seat passengers are how they're gonna get knocked around when you take this thing out, because those back seats are just kind of regular back seats. They're not anything fancy. The 2014 Ford Fiesta ST starts at just $21,400, and our test model here with all the options like the Recaro seats, the painted wheels, and the navigation package comes in at $25,390, which is an astounding value for how much fun, utility, and MPGs you get. On the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I have to give the 2014 Ford Fiesta ST a very enthusiastic, oh my gosh, go to the Ford dealership right now and buy this car.
A few years ago, there were big changes for the S4. It used to have a pretty heavy V8, and that was a very different vehicle. This is a much lighter, happier vehicle with a 3-liter V6 that puts out 333 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. Now, here's the important part. It's supercharged. Not only is it supercharged, but it's a chain-driven supercharger. It's hooked up to a 6-speed manual gearbox, baby, and of course, quattro all-wheel drive. It is a fun car to drive. Here we go. Nah, back gear change. Holy cow, but it worked out. 5.53. So 5.5 seconds. That's about right. At sea level, just under 5 seconds. Up here, 5.5 seconds. I'll take it. Look, the point is it's a fast car. And at well over a mile above sea level, it did very well. And I'm gonna turn the air conditioner back on because I'm frying. Oh, it deserves it. It's such a pretty little tush. It's not exactly gorgeous though. It doesn't stand out as anything different with the regular A4, and that's one of the things about the styling on the S4. It's not that much different than the regular A4. Now, there are a few things. First of all, it comes standard with 18-inch wheels. These are the optional, beautiful 19-inch ones. And this color, Arrest Me Red, looks fantastic, but it is a color that, frankly, is the only one that really stands out amongst all the colors that they have in their palette. They used to be brighter colors available way back in the past. So, from a distance, when you're looking at the car, unless you're a connoisseur, you're really not going to know that this is much different than a regular A4. It is an inch lower, so if you know Audis, you know, hey, this is a little bit lower. Audi's always been amazing about interiors. They really are some of the best in the business, even with their cheaper cars. Now, I'm not going to call a car that costs this much money cheap. I mean, come on. But it is lower than, you know, let's say an A6. With that being said, the materials they're using here, and especially with this piano black lined, I don't know if that's wood or plastic, what it is, but it looks great. Thank you, Audi, for not using fake or even real carbon fiber, because carbon fiber trim on vehicles is really beginning to look a little ridiculous, especially because we're starting to see it on crossovers now. So this is classy and it's simple. The seats are the best. Oh my God, not a whole lot of adjustments and you don't need them. Great bolstering, even for a big guy, yet the actual rake and places you can put the seat are just right. Everything feels right, not just for racing, but also for commuting daily. Very, very, very comfortable. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you about the back seat. Andre was sitting up here, and Andre is a lot taller than I am, but still, you know, maybe an inch further back on the seat. And with it back, I'm over 6'1"-ish. And my knees do clear it, but it's not easy to get in and out of. Fortunately, there are just enough places around here to where I can move my body around in order to kind of get in and get out. So if you have a family of tall people, I don't recommend this vehicle, but otherwise, make do with it because it drives so damn good.
Хорошо, хороший звук.
Good brakes, wow, really good brakes. So the front end does push, but right when it does, especially in a corner, you feel the rear end kick in. You can't be too savage with the gear lever, or else you'll miss the shift. That I've noticed. I think that I could leave this thing in second gear, and it pretty much could do almost the entire track. So very tight track. This thing has so much grip, it's crazy. I love it. I love it! Love the brakes! Oh! This is a fun car. I don't care if it was slow, it felt fast. How was that? A minute 10? I think that's better than
It's the record. It's the lap record.
What an awesome car! And I actually left the radio on by accident, and wow, that's awesome. I was gonna say I want to take it around again without traction control, but maybe not. Should I try it? I'm gonna try it. I don't think I can do better than that. Wow, what a good car. This is not a power track. This is a handling track. So I think a lot of the other vehicles that have been here have been really good on long straights and really fast. But around corners, this thing forgives even an idiot like me. Minute 10. That's pretty good. There are a couple of things from the back that you actually have that I forgot to mention, one of which is the fact that the trunk has 12.4 cubic feet of space, which isn't too bad. It's kind of shallow and it's not as deep as it should be, but still, it's usable. And one more thing, when I was talking about how recognizable the S4 is, these quad exhausts are another telltale sign that there's something special going on. That was awesome. That was cool. This is a great car, not just on the track. We've driven these before, and Audi's done such an amazing job. They really have. Now look, there are other vehicles out there that compete with this one, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that this one is one of the best in class. Oh, it deserves it right there.
This Infiniti has the spirit of a Formula One car. I mean, it has Sebastian Vettel written all over it. Just check out these aggressive lines. Check out these body matching colored wheels. Look at this front. It is aggressive, it is mean, it is in your face. If you could buy a Formula One car for the road and for your family, this would be it.
I'm conflicted about this car because the day I saw it in a magazine, it looked to me kind of like, well, a Malibu. It didn't really look like a fast car. And when you look at it from the front or the rear, it looks a little different, but it doesn't really secrete that fastness that you want. Now, it is kind of a Clark Kent car because once you step on the pedal, open up the shirt, there's a big S on your chest, you go flying. But for the most part, it just doesn't look like it pops, and that's a real shame. I really wish GM would take this styling up a notch.
328 horsepower, 269 pound-foot of torque, a V6 that feeds only the rear wheels the way a race car should be. It has a 7-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters, and it is very lively indeed. Once you get into the power band, this thing's like a scalded cat. It just takes off. I'm not sure it's as fast as Nathan's 8, but for a 6, this is about as good as it gets today. There we go. I've got the traction control on for this lap. That's how we usually do these. And immediately I can tell you that the steering, which is normally almost too twitchy on the road, is right at home on the racetrack. I've got it in sport mode, but I'm not using the paddle shifters. And once again, oh, very intrusive track control and a very bad turn in there. Missed the apex completely. So that's my fault. The back end's coming around a little bit, and the traction control just cut in, eliminating all the fun of back end slides. That's a little bit of the back end come around, though. It's not bad. Very precise car. Really goes exactly where you pointed. And you know, guys, I'm not a race car driver. I'm just doing the best I can as an everyday driver. But I can tell you that this car is right at home here on the track. I'm going to say it's almost a little bit too track focused in some ways for everyday use. All right, here we go. Back end coming around. I'm on the gas. Nothing. Finally keeps in. Here we go. And that's it. Let's see what my time was. Let's go talk to the man. I'm thinking that was pretty slow because that was my first time around, and very intrusive traction control. I'd like to try it without traction control. Really give it the beans. All right, Nathan, what's the word?
Minute 14.
Minute 14. Not that fast. You know, can I try it without traction control?
Yeah, absolutely. Just remember, it's a little tiny bit damp out there.
All right, I will. Thank you, Nathan.
No problem.
One more time. Let's see if I can do a little faster. Now, of course, the downside to having a Formula One inspired family four-door sedan is that it's pretty tight. The cars that actually do compete with this, like the new BMW 3 Series and, of course, the new C-Class, have grown up one size. This thing is more in line with the Lexus IS, even the Cadillac ATS. Inside it is very elegant. It is very Infinity, which means that there's a lot of electronics. The downside is those electronics are slow. Whenever you start up the car, the interface pops up, and if you want to change the channel or if you want to actually do anything with any of the HVAC controls, it takes forever until the system boots up. It's powered by Intel, but it feels more like it's powered by a 1970 Commodore computer. It would be cruel to try to stuff Nathan in here. This is where I drive. And let me get in this car. As you can tell, I have very little headroom, maybe a few centimeters of knee room, and my feet are under the seat and they are trapped. You know what? Nathan, why don't you show them how tight this is? You demonstrate, because they may not believe me. Go for it.
Stubby legs. Hey, nice leather. Well, I got the foot in there.
What do you think?
I think that if Sebastian Vettel says it's okay, then I'll lose my legs right here, baby. Right here. It's okay. It's actually, you know what? If you're an average size adult with an average size adult driving, not giraffe legs here, I think you'll be okay. It's just...
It's old school.
It's old school. And you know what? There isn't a lot of headroom either. You know,
tight.
Yeah, it is. It's just, it's very... Kimi Räikkönen couldn't get his head in here. No.
Or is that his ego?
I didn't say anything about that.
This time, I'm going to be doing less talking and more driving. So, minute 14 is okay, but it should be faster than that. It feels a lot faster than that. So let me go for another hot lap that has a little bit more, hopefully smoothness and speed. All right. Can't see where I'm going. Okay. Here we go. All right, no traction control. Just me this time. Much better, much better. Nothing's cutting in. Engine power comes on right away. brave and take this corner fast. Set myself up for this one. Yeah, much better. On the power here. A little too far out. Back end came out, but that was fun. Clip this apex. Cool, the seatbelt's tight though. Now that's what I'm talking about. Not the fastest way around the track, but certainly a lot of fun. Seatbelts have got me in a vice-like grip, which is actually pretty cool. Right, this corner, it's a very tight track. Back end's coming around, but the power's nice. Oh, I'm sliding this thing around. I am manhandling this. Vettel would not be proud of me. I'm sure he would be much smoother, because let's face it, a smooth track lap is a fast track lap, and this one's a little bit messy, but a lot of fun. You know what? I don't care about my time. I'm having so much fun at this point. The time is almost irrelevant. There comes the back end. Yes! Come on, come on! Go, go, go! Come on, here we go! That was definitely messy.
Much better.
Yeah?
Yeah. Minute 12. 2 seconds faster.
The scruff of the neck, man.
Yeah, we saw you sideways there, and there.
I was sideways.
Also.
1:12:32.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it certainly made a difference.
All right, you go for it.
My turn.
Let's see what that V8 can do.
Yeah.
Under the hood, it doesn't really look like it has much pop, but it does, because this is a 6.2 liter V8 that puts out 415 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, and it's hooked up to a 6-speed automatic transmission that goes to the rear wheels.
It does sound better. It does sound really good.
This car has really good balance. According to Chevrolet, nearly 50-50 balance, front and rear, and you can tell. So despite the heft and the size of the engine, and it is massive, 6.2 liters, this baby just does it. I love the way it accelerates. It's kind of like when I had that Camaro ZL1, except for the ZL1 had a lot more power because A, supercharged, B, high altitude supercharged. This car, well, let's just say, it's got balls, baby, and that is an Australian quote. This is the Bon Scott of muscle cars. How about that? For those of you who are AC/DC fans, I mean that in the most respectful, no BS way. I went off-road a little bit.
It's okay. We'll get it next time.
Whoa, the brakes are awesome. That was good. I don't think I went that fast, but that was fun. Yeah, do a little research on Bon Scott. He was a badass.
I got good news and I got bad news.
What's the bad news?
The bad news is you're slower than me, but you're faster than me on my first lap. You're at 1:13.
Okay.
So you want to try it without traction control?
Yeah, I'll try it without traction control.
All right.
I'll see you in the fences.
You're about a second off. It does sound great, though.
It does. Yeah, it feels good from the inside, too.
I didn't expect to be excited about the interior on this car, and you know what? I actually am, because it's remarkably well laid out. It's one of the nicer interiors GM's built because it's simple and everything is comfortable. Everything feels pretty much premium. And even though it comes from the same place that the Pontiac GM came from, the same womb, this one feels a lot more sophisticated, with one exception. Despite the fact these seats are very, very comfortable, it has these little metal things that are supposed to represent where you would normally pull seat belts through, but it's too small, and it just doesn't make any sense that they're in there. But otherwise, well done. Here we are. Not bad at all. Lots of leg room, lots of headroom. Actually, a very, very comfortable back seat. There is a problem. These seats, they don't go down. So if you have large packages in the back, all you have is this pass through here. And away we go. I mean, you want a car that gets good gas mileage that performs like this size? Good luck. This car is built specifically. I love it! For going fast. You can tell the traction control's off. Poor car. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna take it a little bit easier so I don't crash. Around this hard corner. Oh, you feel it kind of in your bones, but it's not a painful thrust. You know, like some cars, they really give it to you. This one is a little bit nicer about it. Yeah.
Oh, so close, so close. Look at that. Check it out, guys.
I didn't see it.
Oh, sorry. 112.75. So you were, you know, a hair's breadth away from basically tying the Infiniti. But
And you know what? I'm a ham-fisted driver, so if you were driving both cars, you'd probably beat the Infiniti, I think.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see. You know, this is obviously not a track weapon,
And we are not pro race car drivers, obviously.
but
Whew.
it sounds wonderful.
I was sideways a lot.
Yeah, you were. I bet you're sweating, dude.
Yeah, it's a little concerned. I saw that wall come up kind of fast, too.
You did a great job, though.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Really good.
Thanks. Whew.
All right, Nathan. To sum it up, what's your bottom line on both cars?
There's not enough pizzazz. They need a little bit more zing, more horsepower, better road manners, something in them that just has to go up one step with more pizzazz.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this one's not sporty enough, and this one is too sporty. You know, it's a family four-door sedan, so you don't want to have a twitchy car that feels like it belongs on the track every day you drive it. On the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'm going to give this one a lease it. And what are you going to give this one?
I'm going to give this one a lease it.
As always, this is Roman
And Nathan,
saying thanks for watching and see you next time. Check out
TFL Car for news, views, and real-world reviews.
You know, that's cool, Nathan. Really cool, but I don't think that makes for the fastest 0 to 60 time.
It doesn't matter. It's cool. It makes me look cool. I look like Brad Pitt now because I did that. Just because you don't like it?